Um, okay. Hello. Steampunk here. So, you know why you're here. You're obviously looking up AppleScript editing. So let's just get into it really easily. I don't have to chat about, terminal and all that. You already know about that stuff if you're here. So, let's get into it. AppleScript Editor is a program that is used to make AppleScript scripts. AppleScript scripts, or the AppleScript language, is a natural language natural language, which means that it uses English words. It doesn't use symbols like Python and all that other languages. So it's really easy first language. Okay, so sorry if I'm going too fast. I think that you guys just search this and then you know what you're looking for. So let's get into it. So you can find AppleScript in your utilities, I believe. Yes, utilities, or look it on Finder, or Launchpad, or Spotlight, and just type in AppleScript Editor, and this window will pop up. So, uh, all this window is a basically, oh, excuse me, there'll be something down here. I just get rid of this. This is just the results of your programming. I don't really have to deal with that. That's just me. But you'll get this, and basically what this is it says record, stop, whatever. It's run and compile are two big programs. I mean, two big buttons. So let's do a simple program. Whenever you learn a programming language, you always do the program hello world. So usually you'd say, oh, well, print hello world. Well, no. In this, you just simply say display dialog. So instead of it, and what this does is it tells it to pop up a little window that says whatever is after this. So let's say hello world. There we go. Hello world, and then parentheses. I think you can just do single parentheses. I just go with double. That's just me. Okay, so this looks weird. I know. It's like, oh, why do we have to say display dialog, hello world? Why can't we just say, like at symbol and then hello world or whatever the symbol is? It's because it's a natural language program, a scripting language. It's made. Some people might disagree with me, but it's made to teach people how to program. So all that is just saying display dialog. So that kind of stands for itself, and then this whatever's in the parentheses. So we click compile, and that just formats it so that the program can run it. And then we say run, and boom, hello world. All this is a display dialog, and it automatically puts a cancel and OK buttons. It just pops up this little box, and it says hello world. And we say OK, and it stops. Well, we can say, we can say whatever. Hello nerds, and then we say compile, and we run, and then hello nerds. Uh, so we can do many things with this display dialog. There's another thing that is very simple, but just so you know, if you type in beep and then you say compile and run, it'll beep, like the computer will beep. You can say beep. Why am I gonna beep 9? I'm not gonna do that. Beep 2. I'm not that stupid. That would go on forever, but it just beeped twice. Okay, so let's set some. Well, there's two things you need to know: is variables and strings. So variables is saying that this is set to this. So instead of typing out a string or a collection of words or whatever, you just type in that letter or whatever that stands for. So instead of saying, uh, and then the player 1 says this in reply, you can say just P1. So let's set the letter A to 3. Compile. All let's do is set this letter, this variable, to this string of 3. So set B to 6. Compile. Okay, that's really simple. Obviously, set this to this, and then set this to this. Okay, so now let's move on to if and else statements. Now you're thinking, whoa, this is way too fast. If you're going into programming, you obviously are smart. Therefore, I think you can move along with this just fine. So if and else, if and else. If and else statements are if this is true, or if this is this, then this. Do this. Otherwise or else this. To show you, if 3 is equal to be 6, then return, then beep. And then we just say compile. Oh, you have to put an ending. Say end if. This all it did was say end the program of if. End this. So compile. And it says, okay, if 3 is equal to b, which it's not, then beep. Well, it didn't beep, obviously. So let's make it do something else. Else. You can say else this or else if a is equal, continue equal to c. Say we had a c on there. Else and else if. Else is really just the opposite of whatever it is before it. Else if is just like adding another if to like a section or a paragraph, stanza, whatever you want to call it. So else, else say. So let's make the computer talk. Else say, they're not equal. And then you just compile. And so if this is equal to this, then beep. If it's not, then say they're not equal. So let's see what happens. My British computer just said they're not equal, so they're not equal. Now let's say that was a 6. It just beeped. So this is simple programs that you can get to, start making. And they're pretty simple. Anybody could figure those out. So you can move on to a lot of things. Let's say you can make apps. And I'm going to show you an app. This is an app I made, and it's called Guessing Game. Pick a number between 1 and 10. So let's pick, 4. It says too low. Okay. Run it again. Pick a number. Let's pick 5. Oh, I wonder how I knew that. So really, all this is, if you ignore some of this, it says set this. This is just variables and strings. Let me minimize this. Excuse me. Let me kind of minimize this to a point. Set this to the. Oh, let me pull that back up so I can kind of get a feel of where the screen is. So set this to this, set this to this, and all just 1 to 10, and then set text return to la 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 la. I'll get to that. That's a statement that you'll want to know. See, recognize the display dialog. There's some obvious things like, I don't know, buttons, and I'll get to that, but just to show you. If, else if, end if. See, this was something we did, didn't we? Display dialog, it just is a continuation. You put some buttons in there. See, like this extension right here just says add the button OK. And then you say if, else if. I usually do else if. I don't really use else much. I just use else if. So all this is just stanzas of things we just went over, except used in a certain way. So if we say run, pick a number between 1 and 10. Well, let me move this down here. Oh, whoops. Let me. There. Okay, so we say 1. If this line contains a, then display dialog of this. So what this means is if x, that line, contains a, so set x, so we set x to text returned, which means that like line of, and then all this in parentheses. So set this to text of display dialog. See, when it displayed this dialog, pick a number between 1 and 10. Then the default answer, this is really weird. You have to put the default answer button. Oh, whoops. See, it says default answer and then nothing inside. All that does is really make this. This doesn't make this, excuse me. This makes this, default answer. Buttons, okay. Default button 1. I think that means the number of buttons, I believe. That's just something you have to add. It's kind of annoying. And then added, you can just say ignore white spaces, ignored case. And what this does is it just ignores cases and white spaces. And just so you know, you have to put that at the end, too. Okay, so let's run it. And they say if x, if this thing contains A, which is what? A is 1. Oh no, let's do the answer. Set E to 5. So let's find E in here. There it is, right here. So if this line contains E, which is 5, then display dialog correct. So when we type in 5, which is C, no, is E, and we say OK, it pops up correct. Let's say it didn't contain E, it contained F, which is 6. Then it will display too high. So what did it display? It displayed too high. And see the buttons when I'm over, I type, let's type in 7. The buttons, 1 is just the buttons OK. I could add, so I say like buttons OK, or K, if you wanted to be cool like that. You can just say compile and then run. Oh, excuse me. Ignore that. So that's all that did. So I hope this kind of goes over the basics of if and else statements and some other things, some like buttons and such. And you'll be able to understand it really easily. It's not that hard. So I will see you guys next time. We'll be making some programs then. Those are just the basics. You don't really have to know much more to start doing things. Really, it's that simple. And there's more to learn, which I'll learn later, but I mean, those are the basics. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. And good luck programming, guys. See ya.